What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Mr. Elite's Wrestling Show. We are here once again with my co-host Courtney Ross. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing just great. How about you?
I am dandy. We have with us tonight a special guest, Jeremiah. How you doing, Jeremiah?
Pretty good. How's everybody doing?
All right, so let's get this party started with the week in review. I have changed it up. We're not going to talk about matches because that's pretty boring. But I have news. If there is news out there in the wrestling world, go figure. Steroids and whatnot. At a live event in British Columbia, a fan threw a replica Money in the Bank briefcase at Roman Reigns. No charges were filed, but the fan has been banned from all live events indefinitely.
Yeah, I actually seen the video.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I actually seen the video of that.
How funny was it, though?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. The referee was, as he went up to the fan, was like, referee looked like he was going to just punch the fan.
So, I mean, it's cool to know that if you chuck something at a wrestler, you won't get fined. You just can't go see a live event anymore. So that's cool. So when they come back to Springfield, I'll make sure to hit Mark Henry with something.
Hey, man, you only
And it was pretty funny because Bray Wyatt was checking on Roman Reigns to make sure he was okay. And then he started whooping him with the kendo stick.
Oh, yeah.
On Tuesday, there was a private funeral for Roddy Piper. He finally had his funeral. At the funeral, though, however, former WWE superstar Chyna, she apparently was there, and she confronted her ex, Triple H. And she apologized for everything she said during an interview in which she said that he physically abused her during the course of their relationship.
How can you abuse her, though, man? Chyna, like, she can fight, man.
I mean,
I don't know if that was 100% true, though, because I actually
I saw that.
I didn't watch the video, but there was a video with Chyna talking about that.
I watched that video. She said it was not how X-Pac said it was. She said basically she was invited to the funeral by Piper's family because they were close. She said, like, he was in front of her when they was paying their respects, and she said she just hugged him, whispered in his ear, told him she was sorry about everything that happened when she was in that bad space. She said all it was two people who used to care about each other just having a moment, and that was it.
Well, anything Sean Waltman says, you really have to take with a grain of salt because he does crack. All right. On his Twitter.
Hey, you on the Click DVD, though.
That's a good DVD, though.
I still ain't watched it.
All right, we're going to have to review that sometime. On his Twitter, Hulk Hogan stated he was training for a match at WrestleMania 32 when he was terminated from the company due to racial comments. So apparently he was training for a match. Kind of curious. He was probably going to wrestle Father Time, but we'll never be able to see that match now.
I don't. Y'all know me. Y'all know I can give a rat's ass about Hogan. So it's like I'm glad he's
we can
fired.
all mutually agree about that.
Yeah, you know, it's like I never liked him. Like, you know what? If he want to wrestle, have him job to R-Truth. Then I will be happy.
Hey, brother, we know that he's all political, so that's never going to happen. And then happier news, if this is happier, Rey Mysterio finally returned to the ring since the accident last March in which he accidentally...
He did that on purpose.
He didn't really... But if you watched it, have you seen the video?
Well,
Yes, I did.
He did not... First of all, the guy didn't die because of that drop kick. It was the whiplash from the rope. Ropes hurt. You got against the ropes.
Who caused him to go into the ropes?
Yeah, it was a
that
hard
move should be banned.
Hey,
well, at least he
it's a
hasn't joined the
drop
ranks
kick.
of who we was just talking about in that other nameless person from.
That's right. The question mark, the block, and on actually my producer might like this news. At SummerSlam, Stephen Amell, did I say that correctly?
I believe so.
Better known as the Green Hornet, will be competing.
The Green Arrow.
What the hell?
Gosh.
You know, it's sad. It says right here in my notes too.
The
Well,
Green
anyway, I was
Hornet.
excited. He's wrestling at SummerSlam in a tag
You know,
match.
I might actually have to watch that. I'm not a big into wrestling, as you know, but I'm a pretty big Stephen Amell fan. I think he's fantastic, so I might check that out.
Yeah, and Roy jumped the barricade and because Stardust provoked him. So.
Well, actually, going to Comic-Con next weekend, and Stephen Amell will be there. So I'm actually pretty geared up for that.
Okay, so throw a briefcase at him because you know he won't be fined. You'll just be banned from Comic-Con for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Go
I'll
for
throw
it.
some draws at him. What?
Your draws?
Yeah,
Are they gonna be statuated?
a little bit.
Yeah. All right. All right. So, after I made a jackass of myself, going into the topics. Today, we actually want to, I guess, talk to you about why we like this crazy theatrical entertainment that we call wrestling. How did you first get into wrestling?
My dad, he was watching it, and I just remember, I don't know what, I think I was bad or something. I remember he told me to come here, and he said, sit here. So I'm like, I'm okay. So he's watching wrestling. Like, that was the first time I started watching, and then I just go to my grandpa. I go to my grandma Ross's house. My grandpa would always be watching it, and then it was like, I was hooked.
Jeremiah, what was your first experience with wrestling?
I don't know my first experience. 'Cause I've been watching since I've been about 2 years old. So, yeah, I don't remember my first experience. I know I went to a live event when I was like 3 or 4. I remember falling asleep. I don't remember who wrestled or anything.
Probably Hogan.
Nah, he only does the big downs, brother.
Was it the event in '92?
No, I think it was in the 80s something. Because I was born in '83, so yeah, it was pretty it was probably like 87, 88. So I might have been like 4 or 5.
That was the Adrian Adonis period.
So yeah, I've been watching ever since. There was a couple years where I took off and didn't watch, like 2002. I missed a lot of that year. Some in 2007. Just 'cause I wasn't able to watch then. I kept up on it then, but for the most part, I've kept up on pretty much everything.
I've never stopped watching.
It's sad. I actually stopped watching in '98 to 2002. I missed the entire Attitude
I
Era.
should slap the shit out of you right now.
You know,
here.
Hey,
kind of like someone else we know.
Hey,
Missed the entire Attitude Era.
I got my opinions on that one, but I told Courtney I wasn't going to rant and raid this week because I did it for the past 2 weeks. So I'll say that for another show. This one's more of a... my first experience at wrestling wasn't actually watching it at a live event or on TV. It was actually wrestling with my dad and my brother. For some reason, that's how dad wanted to bond with us, when we were kids. He'd wrestle with Kevin, and, I was 3, so I'd bite people, which I guess was illegal. So I got in trouble for that. But, I was hooked on that. And, the first I still remember, I still have the tape. My first tape was actually WrestleFest 89. And the main event was Hogan and Andre in a steel cage. But, as fate would have it, SummerSlam 90 was actually the tape in the box. So I was hooked from that moment on. It was SummerSlam 90 was the first
I was always
event I ever saw.
SummerSlam 90 was kind of classic.
I was always a fan, but what made me when I was younger as a super fan, going to my first live event, because that was just how they say they were like superheroes. So it was you see your superheroes in person. It's
My first live event I actually can remember, because there was a period where they didn't even come here for years.
Yeah.
So my first one I actually remember was probably in '98. It was right at the start of the Attitude Era. I think the main event was Rock and Ken Shamrock.
Oh man.
And then it was for the Intercontinental title. Owen Hart was here.
Mine was 95. It was a lot of funny things that happened at the event.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to that one. I remember.
Was the one we talk about?
Yeah.
Before you get into that, funny story. I actually did my research, and I was actually curious to see who was actually on that card. And I've pulled up the card of everybody who wrestled that night. This happened, and I still remember that event too. It was you listen to these names that are on that card. It's amazing. So this happened in October 24th, 1996.
Oh.
There's 2,480 people there. Justin Hawk Bradshaw defeated Barry Horowitz. Crush defeated Bob Holly. Steve Austin defeated Barry Windham.
The Stalker.
Psycho Sid powerbomb man. I'll never forget that when Psycho Sid powerbomb
'96 or
Mankind.
'95?
That was '96.
Oh, I thought it was
Okay.
95.
And the Sultan defeated Aldo Montoya. Mark Merrow defeated Hunter Hearst Helmsley for the Intercontinental Championship. The tag team titles were defended between Owen Hart, Davey Boy Smith against the Godwins, the Smoking Guns, and the Grimm Twins. And then the main event, which really wasn't the main event on the card, I remember it wasn't the main event, was Shawn Michaels versus Goldust.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I wanted to go to that event, but I wasn't able to. So
That whole night was funny. It started off with we was outside, and my next thing you know, my brother was like, "Man, they go Stone Cold. I'm finna go try to get his autograph." I'm like, okay. Good luck. So he
At
next
that
thing you know-
event?
Yeah, because next thing you
He
know,
wasn't Stone Cold yet, was he?
he was there. He wasn't like he was.
He was still, was he a
He
ringmaster?
had, he had the ball. He was Stone Cold.
He was Stone Cold
He was
because
Stone Cold.
that was after Ted left.
Was it after he won King of the Ring? I think it was.
Yeah.
wasn't it?
because he was like
It was before Survivor Series.
next
when
thing
they
you know,
spread.
So, yeah, it
like-
was after the whole Austin 316 thing.
Because they all was like just next thing you know, I see the whole crowd running towards me. I'm like, what the hell happened? He said, man, Stone Cold just threatened us. I'm like, what you talking about? He said he told us to get the hell away from his car for something bad happens to our asses. And I'm laughing. So like that happened. So then like some seats were empty up front. So we went up there and just sat up front. And then this something that kind of sexual happened. I didn't ask for it to happen. It just happened. After Michael's match, he was slapping fives with everybody. And I went to slap five, but he moved, and I ended up slapping his sweaty,
Oh, that was that
hairy,
event where it
yeah,
happened
his
then?
hairy, sweaty chest. So for the next 20 minutes, all I heard was my brother was like, "Nigga, you gay. You gay as hell. You gay for touching Michael's chest. Like, you gay." That's all I heard for 20 minutes until Psycho Sid came out. Now, when he came out, I ain't gonna lie, I peed a little bit because he scared me. He said, he was like, "Who's the man?" And I was like, you. And like, he dapped me. So then, next thing you know, like, he go to my brother. He's like, "Who's the man?" He said, "Sid." Sid hugged my brother. And when I say hug, I mean my brother disappeared because he wrapped it up. And my brother had sweat all up his face. His shirt was wet. I said, "Now who's gay?"
See,
Mine was accident.
I'm gonna
you
tell you-
embrace that hug.
I'm gonna tell you now. I don't think that was sweat. That might have been body oil because they used to oil up back then.
Man, it was something because I remember he was like glistening with the lights and shit.
See, you've met a lot of superstars though
Yeah.
at like meet and greets and
That-
working live events and stuff. You've met
Yeah.
quite a few.
Met Booker. Booker was cool. Spike Dudley was a dick. That's why every time I see him get beat up, I just laugh.
So who do you think would be the coolest person you've ever met?
I'd probably have to say, what would be two? I have to say RVD and Jeff Hardy. Yeah, because like they like actually walked up. Jeremiah was there. Like they actually walked up to
Was
all
that
of
the
us.
TNA event you're talking
Yeah,
about?
like
Yeah, that was
they,
pretty cool.
they actually walked up to us. Like we usually they just go straight to their cars and be like, "See y'all
Definitely
later."
was like a few of them that were, trying to play into character.
yeah, like and they just walked straight up to the car.
Well, they might have just,
Yeah,
pulled
it was,
us off anyway.
yeah, it was cool. Like I think we could have got to hang out with Jeff Hardy more if my cousin didn't scare him.
We have that brown bag special.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing at the event. Like everybody knows Jeff Hardy's history, with substance abuse, and like they was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, you got 10 minutes left to meet Jeff Hardy. Won't you ask him about our brown bag special?" And we
About
kind
the
of
opening,
just
the
looked at each
recording
other
with
like what the hell is he talking about? Like you talking about like some drugs or something? Cause like you hear brown bag special, you hear Jeff Hardy, you thinking about.
Tell me about the Hogan thing because I heard there's a lot of people that were bummed out
Oh, the
about
TNA.
the Hogan TNA
Man,
thing.
that shit, that was so funny. My
Look like your
cousin,
cousin's
my
face.
cousin's the big Hogan fan. I give him shit about this all the time. When we was sitting there, Hogan's music came on, and I swear to God, my cousin looked over at
Real
the
American, it was like
yeah,
TNA music.
he looked over at the ramp. He was like, and then it was like, "This is the Hulkster, brother. I'm checking in from TNA headquarters," and I'm like. My cousin's a grown ass man. He looked hurt when he didn't see Hogan. Like I mean, if we wasn't there, he probably would have had a tear going down, man. Like I told him, I said, "Man, Hogan ain't finna come down here, man." Like,
That's what I said. He only does the big towns, brother.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think
Except for when it's Thunder.
was he here when
Yeah.
He was here at Thunder.
Oh, wow.
His old ass was here. I was laughing. He got
Well,
beat
it
up
was a
by some.
televised event, so-
He got beat up by some cruiserweights.
Wasn't he world champion during that time?
No, he was doing that FUNB, FU New Blood stuff. He had like the
Oh, that was in. I thought that came before
tight
that.
jeans and
Oh yeah, it was.
Because I remember like Hoovy, Kidman, like Ray, all y'all jumped him. They all beat him up, put him through a table. I was dying. That was funny.
that-
The main event was Sting and Mike Awesome.
Was that in the year?
Ambulance.
Was that in 2000 when they came?
I'm trying to
I was
think.
thinking they came sooner than that. I guess it was
Because
in 2000.
it was the main event was Mike Awesome and Sting in
Yeah.
ambulance match. That was the main.
But I didn't go
event.
to it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
see, I think so. '96 was my first show. Then after that, I actually didn't go to another show until 2004 when it was the Red, White, and the Bruised tour.
That was fun.
Did you for here?
Yeah.
Did you go to the Raw one or the SmackDown?
I went to the SmackDown one.
Yeah,
I went to the SmackDown one,
I missed
too.
The SmackDown one.
The Raw one I heard was really good because you got to see Flair and,
Flair was
and
there.
Hunter and Shawn
Triple H, Shawn.
But you know what, man? I wouldn't have traded that SmackDown show for anything because you got to see Eddie, you got to see Booker, you got to see John. When John was actually fun to watch, the Dudley Boys, Rey Mysterio was there. I mean, you pretty much saw everybody. Every big name on their roster was there
It was a good show.
in that 2004 show.
I love the way Kurt Angle.
And then the
ripped
one we went
parts.
to in 2010 was pretty good too.
Yeah.
That was my first time ever seeing Taker live.
That was a funny, that was a funny night too. Jeremiah is usually reserved, but when he saw Taker, you would have thought the kid seeing Santa
I was
Claus.
surprised how big he really
He
was.
was
in real
like-
life,
His eyes was big. He was just like, he was like he was a kid
I
again. He
never
was just
seen
like.
him.
Then when Taker was going crazy on the
Impressive.
apron, like he was trying to get the tag in, the hot tag, and Jeremiah was just like,
Because I didn't get to go to the 2002 show when he went against Brock. I didn't get to go to that.
I
one,
went
so-
to that show too.
So I didn't even know about that show.
Yeah,
that was in
him and Brock
2002
was the main event.
when he was American Badass. And
See, I know they've been coming more frequently now. It's like every year they're coming back.
Yeah, 'cause
where
they-
it used to be.
Because now they fixed up our crappy arena. Finally started fixing it up, so people really starting to come now.
Yeah.
So,
I think my favorite show ever, though, of all the shows, and I went to a lot of shows towards. Last show was 2008. Haven't been back since. I got a funny story that involves you and Jeff, but I'll say that one for next. But my favorite show I went to was a SmackDown taping in ECW, blech, when it was live. Because I just got, I'll drop his name. I got to see Chris Benoit wrestle Mr. Kennedy. It was the Beat the Clock challenge in 2007. It was before the Rumble.
What ECW was WWE's version of
Yeah,
ECW?
yeah. It was the
Like it was just an ECW show?
no, it was SmackDown. It
They
was,
were like
they
ECW
taped
was apart.
SmackDown
okay.
because it was in
That
Peoria.
was in Peoria.
It was in
okay.
Peoria,
That's sick.
and it was cool. You know, I got to see the old SmackDown set with the fist coming out of it, and I was like, well, that's awesome. Taker wrestled the Miz that night, the main event, in Mr. Kennedy costume,
Yeah.
beat the challenge thing. But I remember I saw Taker, I was like, man, he's smaller than I thought he was. To me, he looked a little bit
Yeah, it's
smaller.
because he was in the convention center, so he just looked huge when he was here.
no, he's still pretty.
He's
like,
big.
still
Yeah,
fine.
he's
He was
big.
just slimmer. He was just slimmer. That was when he was in real good shape.
Yeah.
That was right. It was
It was before he won the Rumble.
Yeah,
no.
he was in,
Well, that year when we seen him here was right before he dropped the title to Jericho the night after in the Elimination Chamber when he was getting ready to go against Shawn at the second
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Because like everybody was here. They had like an 8-man tag was the main event. So like Batista was here, Edge was here, Cena.
Orton. Yeah,
I heard the
Edge.
finish was everybody exching their
Yeah, it was
finishing
crazy.
moves.
It was
that
tight.
like Taker was all out of character too, so it was kind of cool to see that. Like
Yeah,
he was
he
doing
was-
stuff he wouldn't normally do on TV.
Yeah, he was animated. Like he was trying to get the tag in. He was running back and forth
Yeah.
on the apron. He was stomping the steps.
Well, what's cool is that in the
I think
90,
Jeremiah dribbled a little bit in his pants.
the 96 show, what people don't know is Taker was actually backstage at the 96 show. He just didn't wrestle. But because everybody traveled together back then too, so Taker was there.
It was a couple shows where like I was shocked to see people like backstage or like you didn't know they was there until they was leaving. Like I remember WCW came down here. I think the main event was Battle of the Big Men. It was Kevin Nash and Giant, and I remember Ric Flair came out. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, Ric Flair was here? Like, I'm like, how come he didn't come out? Like, 'cause I remember Goldberg was there when he was on the rise. And, matter of fact, because X-Pac was still there. He was, because X-Pac, Scott Hall, and Nash ended up jumping the Giant. They ended up interfering in the match.
So I was back in 97,
I think it was like 97.
or it could have been early 98 because
Wow,
he didn't.
Yeah,
WCW show.
yeah, it was like 97 or it was late 97 or 98. I remember like Goldberg was the my fact, I think Goldberg was U.S. champ at the time.
That was probably been like '98 because he won the world title.
Yeah,
like,
he was yeah, 'cause he was
late
U.S.
98.
champ. He fought because Goldberg took on I think Yuji Nagata in that. Yeah,
But then he won the U.S. title from Raven, didn't he? In like
yeah.
the spring.
That's a funny match. so before we get into our next topic, which is kind of like this one, it's a little bit more interesting, and for some of us a little bit more sexual. You know, the funniest story I have was from a live event, 2008. I had previously just met Courtney, probably unloading a truck, probably.
Yeah.
And we had talked a little bit about it, but we weren't really hanging out at that point in time. But you and Jeff went to a live event, and as fate would have it, I actually had the seats right behind you guys. My brother and I had the seats right behind you. Two things about that night I'll never forget, and I was embarrassed both times. One of them I laughed about, one of them I didn't laugh about. The first one was Jeff handing me his big, stupid WCW World Championship belt while he went to the bathroom. And little kids would stare at me with this belt.
The big gold belt?
Yeah, the big gold belt. These little kids would stare at me. I'm like, this isn't mine.
Yeah,
like I felt really stupid. I mean, my producer knows I hate being made like a jackass. And I felt like I looked like a jackass that night. So I remember, I think I gave it to you. I was like, you want this? Because I don't really want this.
Then they
belt.
kept coming up to me. He was like, "Excuse me, can we hold the belt?" And I'm like, "It's not mine." Like, I'm like, "Hurry up before he comes back." Because Jeff didn't like it. He didn't like kids holding. I'm like, "They're kids, man. Like, let them touch the belt." Like,
I just felt like stupid all night long. But the funniest thing about that night was Jeff would probably think of it as a privilege. I look at it more as a curse. I got to sit next to two women who, they were cute, whatever. They were here to see John Cena. They were there to see Cena. They let it be known that they were there to see Cena. I guess Jeff got a little froggy sitting in his seat. I don't know, maybe he had a little too much Coke or whatever he was drinking that night. And, I think he was asking you, or I think they left. Did they leave for like a moment? They left, and he was asking you, or then he asked me. If he should talk to those girls, and I'm thinking, I
said, go for it. That's what you want.
But I was like, Jeff, no. I was like, Jeff, don't do it. Like, Jeff, they stink. Like, Jeff, they stink. No, you don't understand. When I say they stink, they stank. Like, it was nasty. It was like old high school men's locker room spunk. Like, Bruno Mars has nothing on that funk. Like, it was bad. So, Jeff's like, I was like, Jeff, I wouldn't do it, Jeff. They smell bad. Go for it, though. And because Prudy's retirement was that night. Retirement party or transferring party, whatever she was doing was that night. So Jeff leads over to the girls. He's like, hey, we're going to a party after this. You girls want to come with us? And the girl, you tell was like a bull crap excuse why they didn't go to this party. She was like, I think she said, no, I don't think, like, no, we didn't drive. Or it was something like that. Like, they didn't drive or they weren't.
I think they said they weren't from here or something.
Yeah, they weren't from here or whatever.
Yeah,
I remember sitting there, I was like, yeah, they drove all the way to Springfield, Illinois to see John Cena. I was like, capital B-A excuse. Like, it makes no sense.
It was.
But they were bad. You smelled them, right?
Yeah, I was laughing. I was like, go for it.
Like, it was that bad. Courtney was sitting, like, up one row and 2 seats over, and he could still smell them. And Jeff thought...
I was one of the dudes. I was like,
see,
what these niggas
and that's what
think,
Jeff thought, too. And I was like, no, man. It's these girls. And when she and John Cena, she stood up, her arms went above her head. I was like, oh. It's like, Jesus. So anyway, so we go from the stankiness into the awkwardness. And that is, loving this sport. Sometimes the sport invades your dreams. I've had a couple dreams. Courtney has had a couple weird dreams.
Yeah, weird, funny.
Weird, funny dreams. My dream is more of what would actually happen if I actually did wrestle. So I had a dream several years ago. I was wrestling The Undertaker. I was wrestling Jeremiah's boy. And this was back in 1995 because he had the purple gloves on. Yeah, the purple gloves on. And the ropes were red, white, and blue. And I'm pretty sure it was an episode of Superstars or something like that. It was or Prime Time. It was something. And
Wrestling Challenge.
And I remember Taker whipped me into the buckle. And he comes over. He's like, if you don't sell for me, I'm going to potato you so hard. And I remember I took the next bump and I sold the mess out of that bump because I didn't want to get potatoed by the Undertaker. I got threatened by a dream. And then like the other one was I was a part of DX. We were walking out of Feichen's elementary school. We just got done doing a show at Feichen's gym. And I just cut this promo on Randy Savage. And I was like, Savage, you're right here and I'm all the way up here right above you. And like I remember everybody and like all the little kids and everybody were like, ooh. And I thought I did a really good promo. And so it was weird. So your dreams are a lot weirder than mine, though. So I give you free reign to tell the world the dreams you've had.
Okay.
Against my better judgment.
I had one that was with Triple H, and I was like, it was like, all right, it was like I was in the training. I walked into the training center. I'm like, oh man, it was like, I don't know if I was like on Tough Enough or trying to be on it, or I was
like
just
a
training.
recent one, like with the new
it was just
training?
like training. I was like going in there to train. I'm like, oh yeah, your trainer will be out in a minute. So I'm like, oh okay, cool. So I'm bouncing off the ropes. I'm like, Triple H walks in, and he's like, it's like Triple H from WrestleMania 20. He had the white boots on. I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm like, it was like newer, but it was like, why is old Triple H here? So then I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so he's like, yeah. He said, come here, lock up. So I'm like, okay. Locking up. The next thing you know, he's like, he gives me like a double leg, and he knocks me on my back, and he's got my legs in the air. He's like, are you ready? I'm like, for what? He's like, to play the game. And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking it's gonna be a move. Next thing you know, this nigga just snatched my pants off. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm thinking like, and then when I look down, I'm like, why do I have on purple wrestling panties? I'm like, what the hell is this shit? It like from that point, it was kind of like an out of body experience. Like I'm over looking at myself. It's like I'm doing commentary on myself. I'm like, Courtney, get up, man. You got your legs spread eagle. Get up. And next thing you know, he flips me over, and it was like, I'm like, what the hell? So I crawled into the corner. I'm trying to it was kind of like, it was like a weird match, but it was like, he was like, I'm trying to wrestle, but he was being sexual.
Sounds like a broad
And I'm
tennis
trying
match.
to and I'm like, I go to the corner, the next thing you know, like he starts stomping me, then he lifts me up, and then he ripped my shirt. And the way he ripped my shirt was like how rapists do in movies when they rip the girl's shirt. It's like like that. It wasn't like manly or nothing. And tell me, why did I have on a sports bra that matched the panties? And I'm like, what the fuck? I was questioning my sexuality for a minute. I'm like, what the fuck is going on,
I was
man?
gonna ask you if they were like the Triple H purple panties.
Man, yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? So next thing you know, like, he gives me a pedigree, and it's like I can't move. The next thing you know, he's like, I kid you not, he's standing over me. He's playing with himself, man. And I'm like, wake up. Please wake up before the jizz hits you.
Okay.
If the jizz hits you, like, Cordy, you go be gay. I was like, so
Game over.
then I woke up. When I woke up, I was like this. I was touching my face. It was so realistic. I was touching my face like, what the hell happened to me, man? Like, yeah. So I don't trust Triple H. That killed my dreams of being a wrestler, because I was like, I figured something like that would probably happen for real. I don't know if I can. I think Triple H might overpower me. You know?
Did you
Well,
have
so,
it?
what would happen if you ever met Triple H? Like, what you think?
I'll probably tell him that story. I ain't gonna lie. I'll probably tell him
I
that
could
story.
just see
I'll be
look
like,
at his
"Look,
face,
man,
too."
I had a dream,
Like,
man. It got kind of crazy. I had on purple panties. Like how he is, he probably just busts out laughing.
I don't think
He'd
so.
probably be like, really?
I don't know.
But you can tell, like, he could take a joke. Like, he's not like too full of himself. Like when it comes to fans, like, I think he would laugh. He'd probably be like, yeah, you're not ever coming to work here. But funny story though.
Since we were talking about like recent news stories, I was gonna ask if either one of you heard about. Supposedly, the story came out about Brock Lesnar that when he first came in to WWE back in 2002, they were basically going to keep his character the same way it was, but they were going to make him homosexual.
What?
Like that was one of the writers wanted to push for.
Oh,
They were going to make him
man.
like the most dominating like gay character.
Oh man.
Like, but someone like went against him. I don't remember who it was. Now, but it was like a recent news story just came out. With.
Wow.
I can see that.
See, they weren't
I
trying
mean, because
to.
he did kind of rape Taker and Cena, so.
See, if he would have did that and then ended the streak. Oh, do you know what I'd say?
Oh yeah, yeah. You was pretty hurt when the streak got ended. Like, cause I talked to you right after it happened, and that was.
Yeah, I thought you were talking to me winning. I couldn't remember. But
I told him, I said, the streak's gonna end tonight. He's like, man, no, man, streak ain't end it for nothing, man. Taker got this. I'm like, okay, cause I was on delay. His was faster than mine. So next thing you know, I get a text message. It was like, man, that's some bullshit. And then when it ended, I talked to him. He was in shock. Like he didn't know what to say. He was quiet. Like he was just like.
I think most people were.
He was like, I can't
genuinely
believe
in
that,
shock
man.
though.
See, like, I was okay. We can get into this. Fine. I was gonna save it for another show. If you want to talk about the streak, you really want to talk about the streak. We can talk about the streak.
Can you talk about the streak?
There's
a lot of hits and misses in there.
There are. I think there are more misses than hits, though. It's like McFoley's DVD that was released back in 2003. There are a lot more misses than there were hits in that thing. Jeff loves that thing. I think it's crap. Here's the problem. His first match at Mania, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, I'll give him that. Good. That's a good victory. Hall of Famer. Why not?
That was a broke down Superfly though.
When he threw him against those ropes, the Superfly bounced off those ropes. Funny. That was hilarious to me. I wish I could replay that every night before I go to sleep because I'll have good dreams forever. Then, he wrestled Jake Roberts. Horrible tombstone. He tombstoned Jake's hair. But besides that, another Hall of Famer. So there you go. You got 2 Hall of Famers under your belt.
Well, another way you can look at that is he might have just been trying to protect him and didn't want to tombstone him, but it was a botched tombstone.
Yeah, it was like 5 feet off the ground.
But it's better than crippling him. So.
It's better than pulling an Austin.
Yeah.
Next match, though.
Yeah, the third one we...
Giant Gonzalez. Really? Beat him with it. And he lost that match.
Well, he won it by DQ.
He lost that match.
What about DQ?
Chloroform. He lost to the chloroform. Then he wrestles Bundy. Another, really?
I didn't
Bundy?
understand that one. I was just like...
Well, that was because they were trying to push that whole he was feuding with the
Money Inc.
Teddy DiBiase's...
Money Inc. But you didn't have
corporation
any...
thing.
But because that cost 95, they had no talent. Their talent was in the main event.
Well, 95, they was pretty much,
Yeah, their talent was Diesel and Michaels, and their match was awesome, too. Then you go into...
Bam Bam and LT.
And then you go into, 96. He
That was a good
wrestles
match.
Diesel at WrestleMania 12. It was,
That was a physical match.
It is.
For 2 big guys, and Diesel, from what he was, just coming off, a year title reign, I thought that was probably his first big, significant win.
That was like a physical, brutal match. That was real physical.
It was good, but then they tried to recreate that the next year with Sid.
The
And
problem with the Sid one is that I think that was kind of just thrown together in a way. But
The most entertaining thing about that match was the Bret Hart stuff.
the stuff before
That
it.
kind of like just took...
I was just so happy because he finally got the title back, and then it was like, and he wore his old school gear during that match too, his old gray.
And then you go into him wrestling Kane for the first time.
Classic.
Which was a classic.
Took 3 tombstones to beat Kane, and came out victorious.
We should
So
probably skip the next one, but
wrestles the boss man in the
Boss
cell.
man.
I did not understand that. I mean,
Well-
the best part was the when
Well,
y'all
just
hung
the-
him, but that was like the funniest part. Because I pretty much like, this match sucks. But then when they started hanging him, I was like, oh, this is entertaining.
But then 17, he had a classic at 17 with Hunter.
Yeah, because he
That-
missed 2000. So.
That was a good one. His first one with Hunter was a good one. Then his match with Flair the next year was
That
good.
was funny.
Classic and a funny match.
But then his next match against Show and A-Train,
Well, it's supposed to be tag team, but Nathan Jones just sucks.
Nathan Jones.
that's still. I would rather him just take on Show. A-Train was just kind of.
Well, he already beaten Show so many times by that point anyway. So.
I was just like, I was pumped to see Nathan Jones. He couldn't wrestle,
You
but
gotta
he
take
was
it out in
just
the
funny. I used to get
Who
pumped.
took him out? I don't remember, didn't they?
I think it was A-Train and
Yeah,
probably
probably
A-Train and
A-Train.
Show.
I remember they showed that shot at the camera and he's laying on the floor.
How you gonna be that big and get ambushed?
That's because he's Nathan Jones. Is
No, you got to say it like this. He's Nathan Jones. That's how he said.
And
Then
you go into Kane 2.
see, and then this is where the streak starts getting pretty
This is when it
crappy
started
for
getting
me.
better, though, I think. After
To some extent it did, but to some extent it didn't. Wrestling Kane again didn't. To me, it had no significance whatsoever.
What killed it for me was
Other than the Mark Henry
when
match.
Kane kept saying, "You're not real." I was like, "What the hell?" Like he's standing. I didn't understand. Like you went from being a monster, and then as soon as you see Taker in the ring, you crumble like a little punk, and you just like, "You're not real." Hold on, let me touch you and see if you're real.
And that was a short match, too, and it is.
Yeah. His next match with Orton though was really good.
Orton was good.
It would have been better if Orton didn't mess his shoulder up.
Yeah, but the way he reversed, I'll never forget the reverse from the choke slam to the RKO. That was pretty good reversal. So that was a good match. I mean, WrestleMania 21 is good in itself, but
To me, that was where I feel that's where the streak really started becoming the streak. Like, what they
Yeah.
started mentioning.
Yeah, because Orton was talking about the legend killer, and he was going to
Yeah.
end this.
Then you go into Mark Henry.
Mark Henry, that
was a pretty. I ain't gonna lie. I actually watched that recently. That was not a bad match to me. Like I actually watched it. It was actually entertaining. It was just funny when Mark Henry went for the pin after he got on the World's Strongest Slam and he hooked his leg. It was like it's a casket match.
I'm just glad
what are you doing?
I'm just glad they decided to not end it there, which was the rumor that they were going to.
Yeah.
Have Mark Henry end it there.
And then you went into the Batista match.
Batista,
that was a classic.
But it was funny because Batista was so mad that they were in the middle of the card.
Yeah, it was like they went out there and stole the show, like, which I don't understand. Like
Michaels kind of failed.
Because that, like I told, like when everybody was praising that match at WrestleMania, I said that match was not as good to me. Like everybody, I was must not be seeing the same
that
thing.
they had like a couple weeks later.
Yeah, that was good.
The one in London, the one that went an hour
long.
Yeah,
pretty much an Iron Man match.
See, and from that point on, the streak was actually good again. He had him beaten Edge.
Edge was a classic. That was
and then you get into the age of the age of Michaels again.
This is where it gets tricky because Joe's guy is
We'll
Michaels.
save that one. We'll save that.
You know,
we'll save that for a later
Michaels
show.
one I thought was probably better because JR was on commentary and he was so funny during that match on commentary.
Then again, he wrestles Michaels again for the second year, and then he wrestles Hunter again, at 27. Then wrestles, 26, and then 27, 28. And lost again. So he faced Hunter 3 times, wrestled Shawn twice, wrestled
But they didn't
King
want to mention
twice.
the first time.
Yeah, until after he lost.
Yeah,
and then it's like,
well, it's just like the feud with Shawn. They didn't mention this feud in '98 with Shawn.
Well, the point they made was Taker had never beaten Michaels.
And that's what they're doing now in current, like with Brock, saying he's never beaten Brock.
He has beaten Brock.
Well, on paper.
I remember it was on SmackDown. I remember the match.
On pay-per-view.
Brock was on punching him. He had him like this. As a matter of fact, it was a triple threat. It was Big Show, Brock, and Taker. Big Show was on the top, just laying there. And Brock was on Taker, punching him. Taker gave him a last ride and pinned him. I remember that. I got good memory when it comes to stuff like that.
And then you go into the CM Punk match, which that was a good match too.
That to me, that's not even streak worthy.
The CM Punk.
What?
Yeah.
You know who CM Punk is?
You want to know what? You want to say? No disrespect to Punk at all, but there was no way that he was going to beat Taker.
Actually, Taker.
I know Taker wanted him to. But it's not believable. It wasn't believable.
Neither was Mark Henry, really. So
I believed that Mark Henry could more than Punk could have.
You know how racist they are. They ain't gonna let no black man get no milestone achievement like that.
And there's plenty of other ones in there that were not believable to beat him either, like before. But
I knew Rock was gonna beat him.
Boss Man was gonna beat him.
And then
I thought Michaels could have pulled it off.
Michaels was the not the first believable one, but he was one that really I think put the biggest threat.
Yeah.
I mean, Edge kind of did because that match was so back and forth.
I think the ones where Taker won the title from, those were more believable to me because I didn't think Taker was going to get the strap. Because I thought there's no way.
Vince had a hard on for Sid Vicious, man.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to get the strap at 24 and 23, but he proved me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was time at 23 though because he hadn't been champion in so long at that point.
And then we get to WrestleMania 30.
And then 30, which was a weak match. The match was...
Hey, Brock just went out there and just... This is what I like to call, when a person dominates another, I just like to call it an athletic rape. That was an athletic rape.
No.
What he did to Taker.
Now, the Brock Cena match was at SummerSlam last year.
Okay, the match Taker and Brock, that was like softcore.
That's like saying the Taker didn't have a lot of... Taker did have a lot of offense in that match.
Man, he took that... When he got that concussion, he was just like...
And he tombstoned Brock at least twice in that match.
He was looking like...
See, but Taker was...
He popped a molly.
Taker, his last few matches on the streak before, he was getting hurt in almost every single match he was wrestling in.
I mean, Triple H did get him wheeled off.
The Hell in a Cell match with Triple H was good, though. I thought it was...
He beat the crap out of Taker in that match. Yeah. I mean, they got fined for their match at 27, though, because of the headshots.
The Hell in a Cell match was good, too.
But really, neither one of them cared. I mean...
No.
Yeah.
So
but, I mean, honestly... I knew Brock was going to win because it was believable. Like, if anybody's going to beat the streak, it was going to be Brock.
The only way I could say it looked believable is because, how WWE will do it, with the weeks building up, they'll have whoever's going to win usually, on the Raws before, they'll have them get the upper hand on the other one. But, Taker was getting Brock, every week.
Yeah.
Except for that last week before.
Mm. And then his match with Bray Wyatt, which
Yeah,
That-
but that's not even.
That
a
was a
streak
good-
match,
that was
though,
a
'cause
good,
it's not
like-
a streak anymore.
That was a good
Well, they still count for the streak. He's 21-1, or what is he now?
22 and
1.
No, my thing is like, I mean, like it was a good, like, okay, he can still go kind of match. Like, it was entertaining to me.
I mean, I'm looking more forward to this WrestleMania. I'm calling it now. It's going to be Sting
I
and
don't know.
Taker.
Rumors are going around that Vince doesn't want that match, so I don't know how true
Well,
that is. but
If it's Sting and Taker, me and Jeremiah are gonna have our debate because everybody knows Sting
if
is
it's
my
not
guy.
Sting and Taker, and I was talking to him about it. I think it should be Cena and Taker. I mean, that's
Yeah,
really
he
the only other one left.
Right, and then I think Taker. This is Taker's last year.
I mean, you would think it is.
No, it's going to be. They're saying it is
I think
Taker's
it-
last year. 'Cause
Well,
he's
they've been saying that for how
well,
long?
he
though?
toured. I think he's touring Mexico right now. Taker doesn't tour anymore, so this is their last. I think this is the last chance you're gonna get to see Taker. So,
So
you know,
Jeremiah got one last chance to go to a live show and throw his draws at Taker like he promised.
I'd love to go to WrestleMania 32, but no, that ain't happening.
We can
So-
go. We can go. We just gonna have to
all right, we're just gonna have to
hitchhike,
beat somebody up and take their tickets.
or I can just pimp Joe.
Yeah, you're not gonna get too much money for that.
Yeah, they're wanting to get the biggest matches in there to, break their own attendance.
I just
Yeah.
wish Austin was wrestling this year.
They keep on going back and forth with Austin.
He still might.
So it's
I always wanted to see Punk and Austin at Mania.
You know, never. My thing is, they're honest. Never say never, unless it's Sean. He's truly not
unless
coming
Austin
back.
comes back and goes against Taker, but I don't know if I see that.
I would like. I don't know. I like to see Austin fight somebody like. They ain't got to necessarily be new, but just.
They are, I mean, they are two Texas natives, so.
Wait, did somebody say they wanted to throw their draws at Undertaker?
Yeah, Jeremiah did.
Well, Jeremiah, luck may have it. Next weekend he will be at Comic-Con as well.
Really?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
So I'm just saying.
It's
You
in
know,
Chicago.
But before, just what you gotta do. You
Really?
yeah.
Tucker's gonna be in Chicago.
Taker, Sting. There's a bunch of them.
Hey, your boy's gonna be there too. You can antagonize him.
I'm gonna show up at Sting's door, butt ass naked. I'm like, I don't want to have sex. I just want you to see this physique, Sting. Tell me if I got a shot.
But if at WrestleMania it is Sting and Taker, that is going to be.
Sting on top.
It's gonna end double count out or double DQ.
That's honestly what I think is gonna happen. I think, they'll wrestle for about 15 minutes. Probably the Wyatt or someone come out, attack both of them, then it'll turn into a tag match. Because I don't think they want either one of them to lose at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So it's I could see them doing that.
See, my thing is Sting needs to at least win one match in
Sting should have not
WWE.
lost to Triple H.
Yeah, I told y'all it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I said Triple H got a hard on for WCW guys, man.
We'll get into that. How about we get into that in 2 weeks? We'll say that one for 2 weeks. Triple H's destruction of WCW.
And I'm gonna think about Triple H hard tonight because I hope I dream
want
about
that-
him
you want
again. I
revenge?
want my revenge.
You want your
Who
revenge?
do you think had more destruction, him or Hogan on WCW? So
Hogan,
No, you think had more
Hogan.
destruction? Hogan on
Hogan.
WCW or Hogan on
Talking about
TNA?
it.
both.
All right. Well, now, bringing us into that, it is now time for this or that. Jeremiah, you're welcome to play as well. This is the point of the show where I ask my colleagues, what is better, this or that? My producer, you're welcome to join in on the last question because it is a doozy for everybody in attendance.
Uh-oh.
All right, let's get this thing started. Spinaroonie or the worm?
Spinaroonie.
All right. Better superhero, Rosie or the Hurricane?
Rosie. I go with Rosie because he represented for the big guy. Man.
Okay. Better shooting star, Billy Kidman or Evan Bourne?
Evan Bourne. I mean, I like Kidman's. It was more technical. Evan Bourne just got up there so high. Like,
We got Brock in
high.
there.
Yeah, Brock.
The cruiserweight or the light heavyweight?
Cruiserweight.
Yeah, I agree. Cruiserweight.
Okay. All right, you're welcome to join in on this one too. The giant falling off the roof or Hawk falling off the Titantron?
So because
Hawk because it's like he got pushed. He got pushed.
Oh, the giant got pushed too by
No,
Hawk.
I'm talking about like dude pushed. He grabbed like he's gonna grab Hawk. He was like, and then pushed him off. Like
What was it from, though? I'm not sure.
that was on Raw. Remember when Draws and Hawk climbed up on top of the Titantron? He was drunk.
I have to look that up. No, I kind of remember it, but.
Yeah, he fell off. I remember the giant one was funny too. The Hulk was, oh my god, brother! I didn't mean it, brother.
So you're gonna go with Hawk?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hawk.
Where you go with
I'm
Jeremiah?
going to have to look that up because I'm not even sure. about either of them actually.
I know nothing about wrestling, so I'm going to say the
recall, so-
Giant.
Well, but the Giant survived falling off a building, so
Fair
I
enough.
don't know how that's possible. But apparently, when you're the Giant, you can do it and then win the world. Did he beat Hogan that night, or did he lose? I think he lost. Oh, did he? All right. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up here for us. Thank you for joining us. Next week will be in a special SummerSlam edition where we talk about SummerSlam's past. I cannot speak right now. And looking forward to SummerSlam happening on the 23rd. Looking for the Green Arrow, I apologize, and his tag match. Taker and Brock. John Cena and Seth Rollins apparently are competing for...
Hopefully, a Sting sighting.
I got to put the kibosh on that. They're saying you're not going to see Sting till September, October, November.
That's
Or
racist.
later.
So anyways, on behalf of my colleagues here, we'd like to say thank you. Make sure to tune in Sunday to the Epic Movie Show. Do you guys know what you're going to see yet?
Yeah, we'll be watching Straight Outta Compton.
That is the host, one of the hosts of the Epic Movie Show, along with him and Chuck. Pig and Joe Show Monday nights, where we talk about why I dislike the fair with a passion. Wednesday nights, you can tune into the Sarcastic Four, where they'll be probably talking about something sarcastically. Thursday nights,
The Geek Awakens.
The
We
Geek
talk about
Awakens.
everything geek related. It'll also be our final show right before Comic-Con, so it's kind of exciting.
Oh, so you might not hear us next Friday night. So,
Oh no, you guys will be on. It'll be good times.
interesting.
Interesting.
All right.
So I
we
might
will-
give you a pair of my drawers to give the Sting.
Oh gosh, it's gonna be awkward. Hey, if I give you something, will you get some stuff autographed for me?
I'll see what I can do. They usually charge you
How much?
a lot, but we'll talk about it off air.
Okay, I'm kind of curious. Really?
Yeah.
Those cheap bastards. All right. Thank you once again. I'm sorry we ran through the tape 3 times with the closing music. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good night. Enjoy the fair if you like that crap. All right.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Whale's vagina.